Never has a movie made me sit in my car for 10 minutes in the theater parking lot to think about what I just watched. I don't know where to begin, but we're gonna get right into it. All right, so the plot goes, the plot is based off of the last one. It picks up right after the last movie. I guess this movie is 3 months after the events of the first Spider-Verse film. I know at the end of the first Spider-Verse film, there you see that little portal open above Miles, and that's not right after like we thought it was. It's actually like it's some significant time into the future. So I'm like, wow. The plot works, man. What they're doing with this particular trilogy, if you don't know already, this second movie is a two-parter. So if you want to get technical, it's a two-part series, but at the same time, the second part is split into two, making it a trilogy. So it works. It just works. Without spoiling it, you gotta go see it. The plot work. I think they did an amazing job with where they went with it. There are a lot of things that don't make sense at first because they designed the movie specifically for you to miss certain things. So you gotta pay attention. And if you don't pay attention, the fun part is you can't just sit on your couch and rewind it. You gotta go see the movie again. That's the fun part. That's what I love about movies like this. I love movies with repeat value. That's another category I'm gonna add to this channel, by the way. Repeat value. If the movie has repeat value, I think that adds to its greatness. I've seen this movie 3 times now. I'm just making this review after seeing it the 3rd time because there's so much I didn't see, and there's so much I still haven't seen. But I think I've seen enough to the point where I can make a solid review about it. There's so much you missed at first. Like there's this one scene at the very end where there's this character who reveals himself. And you don't realize he's already in the beginning of the movie. But in order to notice that, you gotta pay attention. You're not gonna notice it the first time. I'm letting you know right now. You're not gonna notice it the first time. I noticed it because I saw I saw a still of it on Instagram. Someone put it up and was like, oh, remember this scene? That's the guy. I'm like, whoa. Okay, now I gotta go watch it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Blah, blah, blah. Oh my God. That is the guy. Yeah, without spoiling too much, I'm gonna say the plot works. 5. Pace. All right, this is where it gets a little tricky because a lot of people had the same thing to say, and myself included. At times, the movie felt long. My first time seeing it, I was like, yo, this movie kind of long. I'm like, cause I didn't know it's a 2-parter. So when I'm watching it, I'm like, this movie is ridiculously long for an animated Spider-Man film. And I'm watching it, and I'm just kind of like, so we're about to have an entire fight scene at this point in the movie. What is the movie, like 3 hours? And then cliffhanger. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's a 2-parter. Got it. So I will say the movie didn't feel like it dragged on. It felt like it was just long. And that's not a bad thing. But it's like if you didn't expect it to be a 2-parter, you'll get like this feel to like, okay, so what's gonna happen in this movie? Where's the climax? Where exactly is this going? And that's where I was like, the first time seeing it, I was like, okay, where's this movie going? The movie is great, but at the same time, it needs to end. What's about to happen? When is the fight scene happening? When is the showdown? What's happening here? Again, I loved it, but I'm like, what is happening here? And then boom, climax. And I was like, okay, so now I have to see this again, knowing what I know now. Seeing it the second time, completely loved it because I knew it was gonna happen. So then I saw it a 3rd time, which was last night, I should say, just to notice more things before I made this review. Loved it again. Loved it even more. Got emotional this time, actually. I think the pace works very well. They don't rush anything. The characters they need to take time with, they take time with. There are a lot of characters that are introduced and they have a significant role to play within the story. My favorite was Spider-Punk, Hobie Brown. I didn't know too much about him before this movie happened, but yeah, he was my favorite. And again, you don't notice certain things until you see the movie a certain amount of times. And he was an MVP in this movie. I'm just gonna say that without spoiling anything. So, yeah, there are things he does in this movie where you're like, okay, that's why he did that. Or, okay, that's why he was saying such and such. That's why he did that. That's why he made a certain comment and it plays into the movie. As does, they do that with a lot of the characters in the movie, if not all of them. All of these characters have a reason for doing things, and it works. This is getting off topic of pace, but it helps the pace of the film because it just helps the film work. I can't say a lot of things, so I don't want to spoil it for you because I care that much about the film, and I care that much about your experience with the film. Go watch the movie. Pace works. 10 out of 5. I'm sorry I keep pulling my phone out. This is my first time back. We gotta go through everything. Again, I forgot my criteria. Acting. Can I just say 5 and move on? Like, acting gets a 5. 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. 10 out of 5. 11 out of 5. Million out of 5. I like the way they give emotion through these characters. It's not easy to do that with animation. The way they've animated this movie, it almost feels like, because Euphoria and this movie have nothing in common whatsoever, but the way the cinematographers display the feel of each scene in Euphoria through cinematography and the lighting and in the positions, it's kind of like this. Remember, these are animated characters, so emotions can look silly if not animated right. And so the way they display that emotion is through lighting and shading and in different types of art style, and it works. Like Gwen's world, in the first scene, the opening, Gwen is in the opening. Her arc is what kind of opens the film. Her arc is throughout the entire film, but her arc opens the film, right? Without spoiling too much. The way they portray the art and the way they paint everything, yeah, there was paint in this movie. Like, they painted characters. The way they displayed everything in the movie and how to, show you that there's a certain emotion or a certain thought going through someone's head was genius. And it works. Like, it's not just, oh, he's frowning. It's, all right, I drew him in a certain way. I gave a certain lighting here. There's green here, there's red here, there's pink here, there's purple here. There's so many colors, and you get it. Even if you're not an artist, if you have no artistic bone in your body, you understand what the characters are thinking, because they did that much of a good job with displaying emotion through art. And I'll give an applause to that. From artists to artists, not directors, not animators, not screenwriters. You are artists first, and it shows. So congratulations. Cinematography. This movie does not have cinematography because it is an animated film. If you want to talk about angles, blah, blah, I can't speak, I talk really fast. If you want to talk about angles and such, in how everything was positioned and framed, yeah, 11 out of 5. A million out of 5. A billion out of 5. Just, it works. It works. We're not even gonna get into that. Cinematography, it works. There's no cinematography in this movie. It's animated. It works. Tone. The movie really understands itself with tone. It really understands itself. It is a funny movie, but by no means MCU funny. Things are funny where they're supposed to be funny. Things are serious where it's supposed to be serious. And towards the end, it gets dark. As a matter of fact, it was dark for a significant amount of the film. This movie get dark, like fast. Like when everything, and it's not, the thing, again, the way they light things and the way they paint things and the way they draw things in this movie, that's what makes you feel. They don't have to say like morbid things to make the movie feel dark. Like the way they could be saying something completely one person can be saying something happy, right? And the way the scene is shot, the way the scene is drawn, the way the scene has its lighting, it makes you know that there's something going on here. There's something deeper. Like things ain't what they seem. Specifically towards the end of the movie, it's like, without spoiling too much, again, I have to keep saying that. Like Miles and his mother are talking, and like the scene is it's very dark, and you understand the scene where Miles and his mom are talking, and it's really dark, and you just understand. You just understand that something isn't what it seems. And I love that about this. They don't have to tell you that it's getting dark through character dialogue. They just know how to display it through the artwork. And I think that speaks volumes. Which again, they did an amazing freaking job with this film. This movie gets just infinite zeros. Infinite zeros behind a one. A million, a billion, a trillion, gazillion. I don't care what you say, what anyone says about this movie's a masterpiece. Beyond the Spider-Verse. Infinity out of 5. Yeah, that's my review. I want to thank the people who have stuck around and are watching this video now. I've been gone for 10 months. Reason being, I really wanted to know what I wanted out of life. Not only that, but things got busy for me. I got an opportunity as a cinematographer for a dance company in NY, and I'm constantly between here and NY. I'm not gonna say where I live because, you know, people are crazy. I'm constantly between here and NY, and that's a significantly long drive, and I didn't have the time to do YouTube and sit in front of here and make movie reviews. And now that I do, and now that I know how to make time for those things and organize them in a way that makes sense, I'm back. And for the very small percentage of people that watch my videos for right now, if you're here and you're still supporting, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We back, baby. Consistency is key. Catch you next time.